All right, folks, so this is Shetz, and I'll try to make this as fast as I can, this video. We're graphing higher degree polynomials, and you notice right here, that's even. So I always go back to something that you already know. We're looking at the left-hand behavior and then the right-hand behavior. When it's even, positive, then it goes up. Even here, negative in front, it goes down. And then your odd powers, whether this is a 3, 5, or 7, with a positive in front, it's down on the left, up on the right, and an odd that's negative would be up on the left and down on the right. So please remember that. Again, I'll try to make this as fast as I can. Let me scroll this down here. So when we do this problem here, I've already took out the x. Notice we get an x squared plus x minus 12. That'll factor into a plus 4 and a minus 3. That means here we're going to get a 0, so we plot it. Here we're going to get a negative 4, and here we're going to get a positive 3. So we have a negative 4, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and then a positive 3, 1, 2, 3. So there's our 3 critical points, or zeros, and this is odd, and the coefficient in front is positive. So I know, looking back at our chart on the previous page, it's going to be down on the left and up on the right. So here you go. There you go, and we're done the graph. So it's down on the left, up on the right. Y-intercept, well, y-intercept just means that's gone, that's gone, that's gone. Obviously, here is the y-intercept, 0, 0. So there's your first problem. In this course, we're not worried about how high this maximum is or how low this minimum is. We're not going to worry about that in this course. Okay, we go on to problem 2. And I'll do all problems for you. Here I'm taking out a GCF as well as the negative right there. And notice we're left with an x squared plus 1. That is a difference of 2 squares. So that means from here, we're going to get a 0, and I'm going to write both these zeros because it's a double root. You'll see what happens with a double root. Here we're going to get a negative 1, and here we're going to get a positive 1. So let me get my positive 1. Here's my negative 1 right there, and then our double root. Notice this n right here, that's even. That's even, and we have a negative. So guess what? This is going to go down, like that. That's what it's going to look like. So we start, let me write that down to here, down and down. Down here, down here. Now, what you have to be careful is, because of this is a double root, see there's 2 zeros, we have 4 altogether, 1, 2, 3, 4, but 0 is a double root. We bounce off the x-axis at a double root. And there's your graph. So anytime you have a double root, you bounce off. It doesn't go through, it bounces off. All right, that's example 2. Let's go to example 3. Here I look for a GCF, I take it out. Now I get x to the 4th minus 5x squared plus 4. That will factor into an x squared minus 4 and an x squared minus 1, which means both of these happen to be difference of 2 squares. And notice we have all of our 5 roots, or all of our 5 zeros. That's a 0, that's going to be a negative 2 there. This is going to be a positive 2 here. And remember my shortcut. Opposite of this over this coefficient gives me a 2. Here's the opposite of this, negative 1 over 1, which would be negative 1. And this guy here would be a positive 1. So let me get that down. So we have a 0, a positive 1, a negative 1, a positive 2, and a negative 2. So this is to the 5th power. That's an odd number, and the coefficient in front is positive. So odd positive is just like a cubic, like that. Down on the left, up on the right. Down on the left, up on the right. And again, we're not too concerned about how high the maximums and minimums are. And that would be our answer. Now notice something. We have a 5th degree, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 bumps. So in your homework tonight, you're going to see bumps. It's always one less than your highest degree, which would be 4 bumps. Let's count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 bumps, and obviously y-intercept, all these are gone when you plug in a 0 for x, and you get a 0, 0. So there's our 3rd example. Great. Let me scroll down to the next example and last one. So in your homework, you're going to notice these bumps here. It's always one less than your highest degree. Don't forget, we learned about our double root. Our double root turns out to be, let me just fix this, we bounce off the x-axis whenever we have a double root. Okay, that looks pretty good there. We're going to do this full-blown. This will be what your next quiz is about, just like all this right here. So let's find out this first column, positive roots. We have positive, positive, negative. There's 1. Whoops. Let's start that again. So there's 1 hump, and let me do that again. Let me get back on the right thing here. Sorry about that, folks. So there's 1 hump, a positive to negative, and then back to positive. So that's going to be a 2 right there. When I throw in the negative, we only change these odd exponents right here. So that's going to give us a negative right there. That stays. This is going to change to a positive, and our constant is a constant. So notice there's only 1 hump. That does give us a grand total of 3. Then you ask yourself, can I take 2 away? Yes, I can. I can't take 2 away from there. Where did these 2 go? They could have flown into imaginaries right there. So, possible rational roots, p's and q's. This is my p, that's my q. Factors of, and I'll put it right here, factors of 2 are plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2. Factors of 3 are plus or minus 1, plus or minus 3. So here's all the possible rational roots. Both of these numbers over 1 would just be plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2. But don't forget, you also have the 1/3 and now the 2/3. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8 possibilities. All right, well, I got to do some synthetic division, so let's go with it. I'll squeeze it right in here. We have a 3, we have a 2, a -7, and a 2. I'm going to try a -2, bring down our 3, and we get a -6, add, you get a -4, add, you get an 8, you get a 1, and -2. Yay, I found one of the roots. Right away, put the -2 here. Where did that come from? An x plus 2. Great. Now that this was x cubed, this becomes an x squared minus x. So here's my factored, I got to factor this, minus 4x plus 1. That's pretty easy to factor. The only way to get a 3x squared up front is a 3 and an x. How do I get a 1 in the back, a -1 and a minus 1 to get a 1 in the back? Therefore, this gives me a -3, and -1 is the total of -4. So I got it. here comes the other two factors right there, and that. From here, we're going to get a positive 1. From here, opposite of this, put it over that, and you do get a 1/3. So yes, indeed, we do have this first line here. Here's my 2 positives and my 1 negative. So let's put that on our graph. There's a 1. Here's a 1/3 about right there. And then we also had our negative 2. Great. So it is a odd power that's positive. That means we're going to be down on the left, up on the right. So let's see. Down on the left, up on the right. Oh, and also, let's get our y-intercept there. If y-intercept means x is 0, that's gone, that's gone, that's gone. Guess what? There's my y-intercept of a 2. So let's graph that guy right there. So we go down here, cross that. Let me redo that graph for you one more time. Make it a little bit nicer. There you go, folks. So 1, 2, 3 spots. There's a 1/3, a 1, and a negative 2 right there. And there's my y-intercept of negative 2. Hope you like it, folks. There you go.